on the other side of the screen is the one and only Jeff Goodman. I think we have maybe the best slate of the regular season so far today. There were no games last night.
I don't know if I'm ready to go that far. A Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago was pretty damn good, and you just had wall-to-wall games all day. That's the difference. To me, a Saturday has to be the best day of college basketball because you wake up, you get ready. You might have an 11 a.m. game like there was 2 Saturdays ago in the Big East. Noon games all throughout the night, and you usually end it with like Gonzaga. That's a better day for me. But this is a great day. Or great night.
We have first place in the Big Ten on the line. We have first place in the ACC on the line. We have first place in the SEC on the line. And we lost a Baylor West Virginia game. That's how good this slate was. We lost what might have been the best game of the day, and it is still absolutely loaded. Jeffrey, I think we should jump right into it, unless you want to explain to the listeners why you gave them a losing pick in Texas Southern last night. I don't think you want to do that.
You know what I forgot? Honestly, you know what I forgot? The Prairie View A&M had Cam Mack. It would have changed everything for me. Everything. I'm telling you, it would have changed everything for me. No, listen, I do apologize to all of you for Austin P and Texas Southern are kicking my ass. They're kicking. There's no other way to say it. They are absolutely kicking my ass. But I still think I'm like 35 games over 500 for the season. So as long as I don't go into a complete tailspin, we just got to get it back. I got to get it back tonight. And I got a couple mid-majors, but I'm going to focus mostly on the high majors, Robert.
All right, so let's start it off with Wisconsin at Michigan. This is the first real test for Michigan so far this season. The best team that they've played previously was Minnesota. They beat Minnesota by 25 at home. We all know that Minnesota is not a team that could do anything on the road. The line right now is Michigan minus 3.5. That total is, let me just make sure it hasn't moved, 134. Jeffrey, what do you like?
Boy, you know me. I've been kind of dubbed as the anti-Michigan guy this year. But they're blowing out teams at home. I mean, they are absolutely crushing. They crushed Northwestern, beat them by almost 30, beat the hell out of Minnesota at home. So everything points to the fact that the Michigan Wolverines are going to win this game going away against Wisconsin at home. And that's why I'm going to take Wisconsin, Robert. That's why I'm going to take the team from Madison. I just think the big difference is they're older. They've played in big games already. They're going to come to Ann Arbor. And I don't know. I just feel like, is Michigan going to be feeling themselves a little too much here, where Wisconsin has not – listen, they haven't run it. They've had some slip-ups so far this year. Michigan's 10-0. And, again, they've beaten some good teams. Don't get me wrong. They've beaten some good teams. But they have not faced a team like the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Wisconsin has the size to be able to limit Hunter Dickinson inside. I think that the one real strength for Wisconsin is knocking down threes, and where Michigan has kind of struggled this season is defending the three-point line. They're great defending inside the arc. They have not been as good defending beyond the arc so far this year. And the other part of it is that so much of what Michigan does offensively relies on the fact that Franz Wagner or Isaiah Livers or Shawnee Brown or some of these big wings can kind of create mismatches in that spot. And I just don't think that that you're going to be able to do it when like Aline Ford and Tyler Wall and even Nate Reavers are kind of capable of being able to get out and guard on the perimeter a little bit. And the other part of it is that Wisconsin is just really, really good and really, really solid and really, really sound defensively. And as we've discussed, the big issue with this Michigan team is going to be what happens when these point guards, Mike Smith and Eli Brooks, end up going up against a really good, really sound defensive team. I don't think we've seen it. I like Michigan a lot this year, but 3.5 points to me is just too much in a game where home court does not really matter as much as it probably has in the past.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel as well. All right, what's the second best game of the day? I don't know if you can figure it out. Like there's some, like you said, there's some really good games. The one that I want to watch tonight, I guess. Well, there's a few. Listen, let's go Kansas, Oklahoma State. We got the potential number 1 pick in the country, Cade Cunningham, going against a blue blood in Kansas. Oklahoma State's been pretty darn good this year. Not great, but Listen, probably better than a lot of us thought. Game is in Stillwater, and I believe Kansas is laying 3.5.
It's 4 now.
It's 4 now. All right, so Kansas laying 4. Kansas is 2-0 against the spread on the road this year. I like the Jayhawks. I rarely go against Bill Self in Kansas. I don't love this team. I've been on record saying that. I don't think they're great, but I think they're sound, and they're not going to beat themselves, especially on the road. So I'm going to take Kansas in this one. I can't wait to see the Marcus Garrett, if he's healthy, match up against Cade Cunningham. Cade has not seen anybody like this before, probably at any level so far. This will be the best defender that Cade Cunningham has probably ever gone up against, as long as, again, Marcus Garrett is healthy. That's the key.
Yeah, I think I like Kansas here too. For a lot of the same reasons that we liked Texas against West Virginia and Texas against Kansas. And the reason I say that is what Oklahoma State kind of wants to do is create mismatches and go small and space the floor. And that really plays into the hands of Kansas. They can go 5 out. They can play Jalen Wilson at the 5. They can play David McCormick at the 5, and they can kind of match up a little bit with what Oklahoma State wants to do on the perimeter. And at the end of the day, I just think that Kansas is going to win the majority of those matchups. Now, the difference maker is going to be Cade Cunningham, who has he struggled a little bit over the weekend, but mostly he's just kind of like really been sound. We haven't really seen his passing ability shine through as much as it necessarily has, which has kind of like limited him a little bit in terms of flashing as a like a potential number 1 pick. But if you talk to NBA guys, like they're still right there with him. Like I feel like Jalen Suggs has gotten more hype than Cade Cunningham, but Cade Cunningham is having just as impressive of a season, especially when you take into account the context of what's going on with each of these teams. So all that said, where Cade kind of takes advantage of opponents is like he's 6'8" and like 215, big and strong, can overpower people. And the thing about this Kansas team is that they like all of their wings.
They have no rim protector also.
Well, no. That's not what I was going to say. Well, I mean, that's part of it, but it's also
where you're going.
All their wings are like 6'5" to 6'7" and athletic. So like he's not going to be able to just overpower other point guards. He's not going to overpower Marcus Garrett. He's not going to overpower like a Jalen Wilson. Oshai Baji's like 6'6" and just as strong and as athletic as he is. So I think this is going to be a difficult matchup for him. And I kind of like Kansas as well, laying 4 on the road.
All right, the next best game, Alabama at Kentucky. And listen, Duke, Virginia Tech, we'll get to that one after, but Alabama at Kentucky has become very, very intriguing now, right? Both teams are undefeated in conference play. Kentucky's still 4-6, trying to dig themselves out of that awful start. Kentucky is 15-2 against Alabama in their last 17 games at Rupp Arena. So not like Bama's had a lot of success there. Total's 147, and Kentucky's giving 2. I like the total. I like the over and Kentucky. I like both there. Kentucky's starting to score the ball a little bit. Like they were such a disaster early offensively. Devin Askew's been better. Sarr's been better. They got Keon Brooks now. They just seem to be in sync. And as we talked about last game, they enjoy playing with them, with each other now. I was going to say with themselves. They enjoy playing with each other now. So they're moving the ball, spreading it around, and maybe they enjoy playing with themselves. Well, I don't know.
Who doesn't enjoy playing with themselves? Good.
Right, that's right. Anyway, so I do. I like Kentucky here. Bama's on a roll, and you're like Mr. Negativity when it comes to everything around Tuscaloosa. I'm sure you're killing the super spreader that went on after the win last night in Tuscaloosa, saying that they shouldn't be able to celebrate. My take on that is 90% of those kids probably already had COVID.
You might be right.
That might be a low number. Hey, that might be a low number. So
yeah, you might be right. It's such a weird spot because I feel like Alabama should not be getting 2 points. I don't think it's a weird spot to have Kentucky favored for a team that's playing at they're 4-6. They've played basically one game where they've looked good enough to be Kentucky and to be favored at home against a team that's had the success that Alabama's had. But that said, like we finally saw the Kentucky that we thought we were going to see all season long against Florida. And part of the reason, we talked about this on Sunday morning stream, and I talked about this with Deshaun on for Monday's podcast, is Keon Brooks coming back is kind of what like makes everything work on this Kentucky roster, and he makes it so like they match up with what Alabama wants to do so much better. Like Alabama is as close as you're going to get to Maury ball in college basketball. They just want to space the floor. They want to fire up threes. They want to get shots up as quick as possible. They're trying to play fast, and especially when they have Jordan Bruner playing the way that he did against Auburn, it makes it very difficult to match up with. And I don't know, man. Like if you're betting on Kentucky, you're basically betting that the win against Vanderbilt and the win against Mississippi State, and then the performance against like a beaten up and emotionally scarred.
They gave him confidence.
Yeah,
they didn't have it. That's what I'm betting on. I'm betting on momentum. Now, Alabama's got momentum and confidence as well, but they weren't nearly where Kentucky was. And, they have talent. They do. They have talent, but they've got their own guys that they don't know. You don't know which John Petty's going to show up, right? I mean, Josh Primo's been awesome so far in the last couple of games. But like Devin asked you, it's like the battle of the reclass point guard. That's what we should be calling this game. The battle of and really Primo's looked better than Askew, but I think Askew's still got probably a little bit more around. I'm just waiting for Brandon Boston to break out. I'm just waiting. And I know I say that every game, but I really feel like it's going to happen at some point where his confidence, like that's what they're missing now. Like if they get his confidence back, okay, then to me, you got Sarr, you got Mintz coming off the bench, Askew's better, you got Boston on the wing, you got Brooks on the, Isaiah Jackson blocking shots. They got enough in an SEC that's not very good. Let's be honest, it's not.
Yeah, so I have a question for you. Do you know which team is leading in SEC play? Which team is the best 3-point shooting team in the conference right now?
It's Kentucky. They're like 20 of 40 or something like. It's not a huge. They're not shooting a ton of them, but they've made them at a pretty good clip the last 3 games. Again, small sample size. I don't think they're a great shooting team. I still believe like Minson. If Brandon Boston can get going, man, like I just feel like then they're a team that it's going to flip the switch. Like it could really flip it here. So I like Kentucky. I like the over here.
I don't necessarily love the over just because I think Kentucky is going to play at pace. But I don't know. It's a stay away from me. If I was going to be on someone, I would probably just take Kentucky because they are the home team. But it's a stay away. I feel like I don't have a good enough feel for it. So I will be staying away personally. All right, let's get into the game for first place in the ACC. Yeah. We have Duke at Virginia Tech, and this is not a game that I'm going to be staying away from. Duke so far this season is 1-6 against the spread. Yep. They are laying 2 tonight. Virginia Tech is getting 2 at home. I love the Hokies here. I've already put in the bet for the money line here. If the line keeps moving towards Duke, I will keep putting bets in on Virginia Tech. So this is probably my favorite bet of the day. I'm still on the bandwagon of fade Duke, fade Duke, fade Duke, fade Duke, fade Duke.
I'm kind of with you. They're getting respect here that they probably don't deserve. Right, Virginia Tech's clearly the better team, and have been so far this season. And for some reason, they're getting a 1.5 here in Blacksburg. And listen, I don't love it, but I would go with you here. I would go Virginia Tech, take the points. Duke, they've played 2 games since they've been back. Both have been at home. Okay, both have been at home, and both have been against probably the two worst teams in the ACC: Boston
Mhm.
College and Wake. And they barely beat BC, and they pulled away from Wake, but it was a game. It was a game. So, how do we expect this Duke team that I don't know if they're having Jalen Johnson back yet or not? I don't think he's coming back tonight. I can try to find out here in a second, but yeah, I'm with you. The more I think about it, the more I feel this is a Virginia Tech team that's, oh, by the way, they've beaten Villanova and they've beaten Clemson, two of the top 10-ish in the country right now. I mean, like Clemson, people don't realize best team in the ACC today. Now, again, will that keep
Mhm.
up? I don't know. But they know their roles. They know who they are. I talked to Brett Burnell for a while yesterday. The big thing that he said, which I forgot about, and I may write about it at some point, he said, like, when we went into the World University Games 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, and won it there, he said that's where we kind of figured out how we're playing now. He said that helped us win close games. We played with our transfers, Nick Honor and the other guy's name's escaping me right now, but we played with those guys then. We thought we were going to Nick eligible last year. He didn't get cleared. So that team, they kind of figured out how to win close games, how to play together, how to sacrifice, because really Amir Sims is like leading that team and scoring at like 11 and change. So anyway, not to get off track, but Virginia Tech's beaten a couple good teams in Villanova and Clemson. So I'm with you. They're not going to overwhelm you with talent, but they're older, they're well coached, they're tough, and I love Kive Aluma. Love him.
Yeah, and I love watching Jalen Cohen play. Jalen Cohen has kind of taken over that Fletcher McGee role where you just run off of screens and take ridiculous threes and take ridiculous threes. So big, I'm a big Jalen Cohen guy. I think that Virginia Tech has been undervalued so far this season, and I will take them at home, getting points plus value on the money line all day long. All right, there's a couple more that I want to discuss. I have a pretty good feel for Syracuse at North Carolina, and think I have a good feel for Miami at Boston College. Do you like either of those games?
I don't have a great feel for Syracuse, Carolina. I mean, my feel would be, hey, listen, I'm a guards guy, so I'd probably take Syracuse and take the points here, just because I trust Syracuse's guards a little bit more than Carolina's. But Carolina's bigs, if they get it into them, they could absolutely abuse what Syracuse has down low. So I don't really love it. I'm going to stay away.
I love North Carolina in this spot. I know. Look, the Syracuse, that zone, part of the reason why they are routinely and annually one of the best teams in the country at forcing you to shoot a lot of threes that are difficult and making you shoot a low percentage from three is because of that zone. You're taking awkward threes. They're not driving kick threes. They're usually swinging around the perimeter. With the length that Syracuse does have in their zone, generally speaking, they're contested. And North Carolina's not a great three-point shooting team. So like that kind of will make you initially say like, okay, we got to be on Syracuse in this spot, right? Well, the problem is that Syracuse can't get defensive rebounds, right? Even when they're big, they really struggle on the defensive glass. And this year, their 5-man right now is Merrick Dolezaj, who's like a 6'10" wing. Baruma Sidibe still dealing with a meniscus injury. So that front line in North Carolina, like Day'Ron Sharpe is a monster. Walker Kessler is really, really good. Armando Bacot can get to the offensive glass. Garrison Brooks, the preseason ACC Player of the Year, is coming off of the bench for North Carolina right now. So I think they're going to get roughly 8 million offensive rebounds. I think they're going to get tons of second chance points, and I like North Carolina to just kind of overpower Syracuse on the interior. Like we saw, I keep going back to the Kentucky game against North Carolina where UNC looked they struggled for about the first 25 minutes. And then eventually, like their bigs started wearing down Olivier Sarr and wearing down Isaiah Jackson, and Kentucky just kept getting in foul trouble. So that's kind of how I see this one playing out. Is eventually that like Syracuse is going to have to make a decision. Like, okay, who the hell are we going to play at the 5? Because Merrick Dolezaj has 4 fouls with 15 minutes left on the game.
It's a good point. If they can get the ball down low, which Carolina usually is able to do, you know, I'm staying away. What I do like, I like Providence at Marquette, and I know you're going to like who I'm on here too, which is Providence. Providence is 3-1 against the spread on the road this year. Neither one of us love Marquette, although I do love Dawson Garcia, their freshman. Absolutely love them. I just think Providence is going to get one here on the road, or at least cover. They're getting 3. So I like the Friars here. I'm going to run through a couple others. I really like St. John's. How about that, Johnny's fans? St. John's giving 2 at home against Butler. And they're 5-1 at Carnesecca Arena. The Johnny's got to get some wins in the Big East. And these are the ones they got to get, right? Butler's, we both agree Butler's not great. Yes, they have Aaron Thompson back. The key here, though, is obviously tempo. St. John's plays about as fast as anybody. Butler plays about as slow as anybody. So the only thing that would scare me is if Butler can really, really, really control tempo. And then my last pick is I got two more in the MAC. Ohio is getting Jason Preston back. I broke that a little while ago. He's missed the last 4 games. They're giving 8.5 to Miami of Ohio. Take the Bobcats there. And I'm going to take Akron. Akron given 9 against Northern Illinois. Do you know what Northern Illinois is against the spread this year?
Winless.
1-9. The only time they won was actually when I took them. But I'm not taking them here. I'm not. That was a one-time deal for me. That was an emotional deal for me. Now I'm going with the Zips in Akron and laying the 9.
All right. The only other game that I like is Miami, and that's just because Miami, Florida, not Miami, Ohio. I like Miami, Florida, just because like we've been on them all season long. They're tough. They're competing, even though they don't have a couple of their most important players. So I just
leading scorers, Chris Likes and Cam McGusty.
Well, like I mean, here's the wild part about it. Yes, those are their second and third leading scorers. But they're probably their 2 best players. Like Isaiah Wong, the reason he's the leading scorer right now is because Chris Likes is not on the floor, so they have to find something else to do. Chris Likes is Miami's best player. Cam McGusty is probably I don't want to go that far. Anyway, either way, not having those 2 guys has forced Jim Larinaga to kind of figure out something else he has to do, and it's worked. Like they're tough, they're going to compete, and I think that they are a better basketball team than Boston College, flat out. So I will take them -2.5. On the road at BC. That's all I got, Jeffrey.
All right. Well, good night of good slate tonight. Let's hope I'm going to stay away from SWAT games for a while, just so you know.
Good.
Although my boy,
you need to.
I don't know if you knew this. Breaking news. I'm told Florida A&M. A little bit of a pause, Rob. A little bit of a pause. They didn't play yesterday. I don't know if you noticed. My boy Evans Desir. I hope he's okay. I'm going to check in on him later today and make sure he's okay.
Good. You got to make sure that's your guy.
It is. My guy.
That is your guy. All right, Jeffrey. It's been fun. Hopefully we get some winning bets tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow.